All right, here we are at 6.3 X and Y coordinates. Okay, so we've done a lot of work with data, which is the backbone of the programs, but sometimes we need to format the data. We've got to make it look appealing, so that's why this X and Y system is important to understand. And we've talked about it a couple of times already, but right, the X number is the distance from the top left of the screen, and the Y number is the distance in pixels from the top of the screen. All right, watch the video, read through the slides. Okay, here's an example of some X and Y there. X is horizontal position, Y is vertical position, and there we go, 0, 0 is at the top left, okay? So the frame here is the container that holds the drawings, and it has two parts: a control panel and the canvas. This is the function to create the frame. The name of the frame is a string. Okay, this looks like the name of the frame. The width of the frame is an integer. It's the width, and the height is there. So this is going to be a square, right? 100 by 100. Now we have def. It creates a function that holds the graphics. Draw handler function. The frame calls this function over and over. Okay, let's try it. Let's just see how this goes. Oh, and here's the vocabulary that we had there. Okay. So I've just been oops, yeah. So you have this code down here, and there we have that 100 by 100 testing. Oh, it doesn't like those numbers, those things here. Testing. Doesn't like that. Okay, let's run it again. Testing. Okay. Let's set it to red. Okay, not too hard. Cool. And then simple GUI. Yeah, that's what we talked about with X and Y again. Okay, just kind of giving you the same stuff there. Okay, so go ahead and try the lesson practice. You got 6 questions, and remember, you can take this as many times as you want, so keep trying to take it all right. I'm not going to do it right now, because this is kind of part of your learning, right? It's okay if you get it all wrong the first time. You just keep on going until you get it all right. So that way, hopefully you learn some of that stuff. Okay, now we're going to do code practice. So you should see the following code in your programming environment. Use the code above to write a program that, when run, draws 1,000 points at random locations on a frame as it runs. For an added challenge, have the 1,000 points be in different random colors. Okay, that's a lot of points. All right, so I got to put my code here. All right, that's where my code goes. I should look like that. Now I have the black frame. I have that done. I have testing, although it might want to look like that. Testing. I have black draw handler. Okay. All right. So how do I find that? Well, I can look back at some of the things I've done. I can look at the 6.1 and 6.2. That should give me some clues here. So I'm going to go back and look at 6.1 and 6.2. Different 1,000 points in different colors. Okay. Okay, so I went back to 6.1 to the lesson, and I look at the code that they have already here in the try space, and if I run it, I get I get these flashing points. I also get the background color changing. So the points are cool, but I don't want the background color. So let me copy this part that they have here, and I'm going to paste it, but I'm probably going to have to adapt it a little bit. Okay, so I'm back at 6.3 code practice. I'm looking at the sample run, and okay, I'm going to put my code here. All right, so let's draw the point. That's good. I want it to draw points. But I don't know if I wanted to change the background. And I see I also have background defined as a variable there. So what happens if I delete that? And if I delete this? Well, let's run it. Oh, there's a problem. Random is not defined. Oh, I didn't import random. I didn't import the module. Let me try it now. Frame width. Random integer to frame width. Okay. Well, that's a problem. Where is the frame width? Okay, well, I don't understand that. So I'm going to have to go back and look at that lesson 1 again. Okay, so I'm back at lesson 1. And I'm trying to figure out what frame width equals. Oh, okay, here we have the definition of a variable here, frame width. Okay, well, maybe I could just use that exact same frame width. Okay, go back to what I was working on. Wherever it is. Got to go back to 6.3. Okay, there I am. So maybe I'll just put this up here, frame width equals 500. Okay, now let's save it and run it. Oh, cool. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't go all the way to the edge. Maybe the frame width is too big. Okay, so oh, and I only need 1,000 dots. I don't need 3,000. So let's do 1,000, and let's do this to. Let's see. This goes. Oh no, actually, this maybe needs to be a little bit bigger. Frame width is 600. Then I can go out to the edge of my frame. Okay, so let's try it now. Hey, okay. Well, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's check the grader. Yay, 100%. Okay. Now let's go to the next lesson, 6.4. One of the most basic graphics you will come across is a simple line. Well, it is a basic graphical element. It's still a little more involved than drawing a line on a piece of paper. Where does the line start? Where does it finish? What color is it? In this lesson, we'll show you how easy drawing a line can be. And I think we're missing another idea here. How thick is it? Is another issue sometimes with lines and graphical elements. Okay, but maybe this line is just going to be 1 pixel. But we'll see. We have this canvas draw line and canvas draw polygon function. All right, and we're going to look at the slides here. Remember to share the slide page with you this time. So here are the lines. Try this. Okay, let's see. We can try this in our sample space. Copy and paste it. But what is it going to do? Let's trace it. Okay, so you're getting the simple GUI, getting the random. Then we have a draw handler. You've got a line starts here, it ends here. Remember, these are X and Y coordinates. So it starts at this point, it ends at this point. It's got a thickness of 5 and it's black. Here's another line, starts at the same point where that point ends, and it goes back to where it starts. No, not quite the same place as it started, right? Because that number is different than that number. So it's gonna be like an angle, like two lines or 2 line segments that share one point. Starting and stopping points are the first parameters. We showed you those. Starting point, stopping point, and width of the line. It's the width, how thick the line is, and then the color. Then we got the polygon. Cool. Okay. So just to run the code, yeah, like we said, that's an angle. Okay, we can mess with the code a little bit to see how it works. What if we make that 20? It's going to be like a really fat angle. Yeah, wow. Okay, and then if we want to make it skinny, make that like 1. There you go. Cool. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to let you guys try the lesson practice, and I'm going to go to the code practice. All right, so now we should see the following code in our programming environment. We got to use the code above to write a program that, when run, generates nested squares, similar to those below. Your image should be slightly different from the one above. For example, the color of the lines, space between squares, or the shapes may be different. Okay, so my code has got to go here. And basically, I'm going to need this function, canvas draw polygon. Okay, now this function, I'm just going to copy it and paste it. But maybe you can predict what kind of shape it's going to be, because we have 3 points. Each one of these points share 1 coordinate, so that means they like connect together. 3 points, what kind of polygon does that make? Well, it makes a triangle, right? Okay, there's your triangle. Okay, I'm going to try some different, like, let's see if I make that blue, make that red. Cool. All right, let's get another point here. So we need a square. I don't know what the number is going to be. And I think that's like too thick. Let's do it like skinnier. All right, we got 150, 100, 150, 250. Okay, well, maybe I want this to be a square. So why don't I try like 200, comma, 150. Okay, let's run the code. Okay, there's a problem. It connects those lines in a certain order. So that's not the order I want, because I want a square, not like a sort of hourglass shape on its side. So I might have to put this point, whoops. I might have to put this point before the other point. So I'm going to cut it and paste it over here. Okay, run the code. Okay, that gave me 1 square, but I need nested squares. Okay. Now here's a place where I could use a for loop. Okay, so for I, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So for I in 4. Okay, and then that's the code that I want to run. But each time I want it to make a different square. So what if I, oh man, I bet, so if I have to make it fit inside these things, then I want it to be more than 100. And I'm going to put that I there. That's like a variable. So maybe I'll make it 10 more. 10 more than 100. 10 times I. Okay. So that's going to be 10 times I. It's going to be 50 plus 10 times I. Okay. So that's for, because I want it to go down to the right. All right. So adding 10 is going to move it to the right, and adding 10 to this number is going to move it down. Okay, now the second point is like that lower left corner. So here I want it to go over to the right again. Okay, but I don't want it to go down further. I want it to go up. So I'm going to subtract that 10i. Then here I want it to go, let's see, 200, 150. That's the lower right. So there I want it to go, I want the x to be less and the y to be less. So minus 10i, minus 10i. And then for the last point, I want the x to be less. I want the y to be more, because that's farther down. Okay, let's run the code. Ah, there's a mistake. What's my mistake? Int object is not iterable on line 4. I think I wrote my code wrong here. I'm going to have to go back and just look real quickly about how to make those for codes, the for loops, right? So I'm going back and I'm looking through the lesson because I know there was something about making for loops. Okay, with colors and loops, maybe 6.2 is the place to look here. Oh, I got it for its, I got that, I got to have that range for I in range. Okay, so I didn't quite write it the right way. For I in range 4, maybe like that. Let's see if that works. Hey, look at that. I got my nested squares. Cool, and I was efficient with my code because instead of writing a bunch of Canvas functions, I just wrote one Canvas function and I used I to iterate it. Okay, let's see what the grader says. Cool, 100%, and I'm done. Next, we gotta draw a house, but that'll be next lesson.